Hello friends, once again with Subhashish, English and Imperial. Today's English language class will be on active and passive voice. Very interesting, but leaving many stresses of confusion to many. First of all, let us know what is active and passive voice. In Hindi, if we come to, scientifically in Hindi it is called Karta Vachya and Karm Vachya. What is the difference between active and passive voice? In active voice, a sentence says, stresses more on the subject. And in a passive voice, the same thing emphasizes on the work done. These are the two. Now, the second question arises, what is the use of doing it? First, I will say why we do it, then I will say which are the sentences which can be done active to passive and which cannot be done active to passive. Now, the reason comes why we do it. We do it, see in the stories. Suppose there is an example written. The question is not who stole it, but why the stealing was done or committed. So, the second sentence, stealing was committed, is passive voice. So when the work was emphasized, then the writer threw himself to passive voice, otherwise active. So there are the necessities of writing in active and passive. It's a part of the writing which takes its own importance. Now, which are the sentences? The sentences which have, before we start active and passive, we must go into a little detail of transitive and intransitive verb. Transitive verb. What is a transitive verb? A transitive verb is a verb which takes an object immediately. Suppose he plays football well. Immediately after the verb plays, there is a object football. So football is played by him well. But he played. There is no object. So there will be no passive to it. Fine? Now, let us proceed now. First, I will take a sentence. We must listen to his song. This is an active voice. This is an active voice. We must listen to his song. Now, we is the subject over here. Must listen to. Must listen to. Complete is a verb clause. There is, with the verb listen to, there is another thing, must is also there. Now, his comes, not alone, his song is the object. So, we have to change it to passive. What will it become? Now, this object has to take the place of subject. This object has to take the place of subject. So, his, listen to his, it is possessive case. So, immediately possessive case to become a subject will change into nominative case. So, we will write, no, here it won't be nominative case. Here, because song is also there, it is not only his song together. So it will remain as his song. So I will write his song must be. Now the verb of the passive voice, main verb listen, will always to be in the third form. His song must be listened to. There is no need of writing because it is understood. So, his song must be listened to is the passive voice. There are many ways of teaching active and passive, but this is the best way and the easiest way. If I draw lines and put all figures and all, it will be confusing. So, the main thing is this, we must listen to his song, active voice. If we change it into passive, his song together is an object. So his song will remain as his song. His song must be listened to. Main verb will be in the third form. Will be listened to. Will be passive. They said that he was a genius. It is active. Again, they said that he was a genius. Now there is an active. They is the subject over here. Said is the verb. Immediately after said there is that he was. They said that. Now he takes the object over here. He was a genius. So here he is already in the nominative case. So there is no need to change it. It will remain as he only. He was. Said is already in the third form. So it will remain as that. He was said. We have to add to be. The form of verb be has to be added an infinitive to. He was said to be a genius. Director has appointed her active. The director has appointed her. Now, the director together is subject. Has appointed is a verb and her is the object. Now see, here her is accusative case. So in any case, when object has to take the place of subject, it has to change into nominative case. Her will become she. And the tense remains to be same in active and passive, but to make it into passive voice, has appointed was in active, but she has been appointed by somebody else. So it will be been. She has been. In the perfect tenses, in the passive voice, we add been, present perfect or past perfect. Been. She has been appointed by the director. This comes the passive. Now this was active to passive voice. The same thing, if it is given in passive, we need to change it to active. How? Now see, first I told you why active and passive, the two form voices are used. And the next is how they, why they are used. And the next is why they are used. How they are changed is this one. Because while writing, you must know what is what. Now, passive to active voice. An elephant was seen crossing the road. This is passive voice. An elephant was seen crossing the road. This is in passive. Now see, first of all, now this is absolutely the reverse one. An elephant was seen here. An elephant comes as the object. Was seen as the verb. Crossing the road. Next we are writing crossing the road. This is the verb described. The verb is described here, so it is passive. Now we have to change it into active, which is the object, an elephant, and crossing the road. But the subject is abstract over here. Somebody saw or people saw, so we will take that as the subject. Okay? So it will be what? It will be they saw an elephant crossing the road. They saw. Here it becomes the subject. Saw is the verb. An elephant is the object. This is the complement of the object. Fine? Complement of the object. So it becomes the active voice. Then come it was hoped by Vikram to succeed his father. Again, it's a passive form. It was hoped by Vikram. Who hoped? Vikram. So Vikram, here it is the work described. So it comes as passive voice because the work is described. It was hoped by Vikram. So Vikram is the object which is going to become the subject now. To succeed his father. So it will be Vikram hoped to succeed his father. When were you deprived of your money by Arun? This is in passive voice. Why? Because the work is when where you deprived. First of all, the work is work described. And the agent of the work is coming later by Arun. So it is a passive voice. Agent of the work is later. So we will make it into active voice. What will it be? It is a question, it will remain as a question. So when? So since it has to remain as a question, it will start with when only, but the subject has to come. The subject has to come first. When did Arun deprive? Did is there, so it will be deprive. Deprive you of your money. It becomes active. When remains when, because it has to start with the question, but the agent will come, take the place of the subject. When did Arun deprive you of your money? Fine? This you has to go later. It will become object. You of your money. He was accused of various offenses by the citizens. Passive voice. Again, because though it is starting with he, but he was accused. So helping verb is coming before and then the main verb, and it is describing the work. So it is work described. Work described again. He was accused of various offenses by the citizens. Now it has to change. By the citizens, the agent, the citizens will take the place of subject. The citizens accused him. This he, which is in the beginning, nominative case, it will take a place of accusative case. The citizens accused him of various offenses. This becomes active. The cart is being loaded by the laborers. Now, this is again passive voice, and the tense is being loaded is present continuous. I have described and explained you the tenses in my earlier lessons. Present continuous tense, being loaded. The cart is being loaded by the laborers. Now the work is described. The cart is being loaded. So work, it is a passive form. Who are the agents? The laborers. So we will take the laborers as the subject. The laborers. It is present continuous. The cart, since the cart is singular, so it is. agreement of verb with subject is singular, but the laborers are plural, so agreement of verb with subject will be plural. The laborers are loading the cart. This is the active form. The match had nearly been lost by them. Passive. Now, the match had nearly been past perfect continuous. Past perfect tense, sorry. Past perfect tense. The match had nearly been lost by them. Now the work is described. The work is described, match had nearly been lost, so it is passive form. Now it has to remain in the past perfect tense. And who are the agents? Them. Means it is in accusative case, so we have to change it into nominative case. Them will become they. They had. No need of being, because now we are straightway writing in active form. They had nearly lost the match is active. I hope it was fine. You have understood? For today we conclude here.